If your bearing carriers get damaged, they will need to be replaced. Otherwise, you'll notice that your truck isn't driving like it used to. So let's take a look at what it will take to replace the rear bearing carriers. So in front here I have some RPM replacement parts for this bearing carrier. Now this RPM component is has a little bit more material than the stock carriers, so it's going to be a little bit more durable. And around where the linkages get installed and everything, there's a little more material, so again, more durable in that area. So to get at the carrier, here's the component, right? The stub axle goes through like so, and it's right here. This part attaches to the A-arm, and this to the tie rod. So we're going to have to remove the wheel and those screws that hold it to those other components to get at the carrier itself. So first, let's remove the tire here. Comes off. And here, as you can see, it's just the pin screw combination thing at the bottom here, holding the carrier to the A-arm, and then back here, it's just your standard hex screw. It's a 2 mil part up here. So simply like that. Over time, what could happen is the bearings in these carriers could seize up, and when they do seize up, it could cause, the drive shaft could cause them to spin within their cavity, causing a lot of heat and then deforming the insides of the carrier. So maybe the carrier itself won't be broken, but the chamber where the bearings go could get damaged. So in those cases, you'll have to replace them as well. So I'm just turning the truck this way to remove this screw pin. Okay, so just unscrew it a little bit, maybe a 1/4 inch, and then just pull it out. Okay. So you can go ahead and just slide off this part of the drivetrain here too. And from here, this process is going to be very similar to replacing the stub axle. The difference being we won't have to take the stub axle off of this drive shaft. So again, with a small flathead screwdriver, just get in behind this hex hub and apply some pressure to pop it off. The hex hub itself is actually channeled with a groove so that it really holds onto this cross pin here very well. So remove the pin. At the same time, remove the washer underneath the pin and slide out the stub axle. Now, at this point, you may need to actually replace the bearings if they have seized up and is what's causing the chamber to fail or be damaged. Or another thing to do is actually clean the bearings at this time, brush off any grime and dirt that's on there, and apply some bearing lube. But we're just going to go ahead and move these bearings from this old carrier to the replacement. Okay, there's the first one. Just using one of the hex drivers to push on the side of the bearing here. There's the second one. So I do notice that there's a lot of grease and grime on these bearings, so I'm just going to grab a towel and wipe them down. Now what you're going to want to do too at this point is apply some lube. But let's move forward and reinstall the bearing carrier. So one of these was the replacement. So I'm just going to go ahead, pop the bearing in. It's a very snug fit, like so. And then depending on how you remove the stub axle component, there's a small little washer on the end here. So make sure that goes on the stub axle before you slide it through the bearings in the carrier. On the opposite end, put the other little small washer in place. Slide in this cross pin to hold the stub axle in place so it doesn't slide off, you can see. From here we can just snap on this plastic hex hub. Again, it's keyed to fit right over this pin, and it will actually snap in place, so you're going to have to apply a little bit of force. Okay? So with the bearing carrier assembled to the stub axle, we can put the drive shaft back in place. Keep in mind this is keyed, so it'll only fit in one way. So don't force it in. Rotate the tube around until it just slides in. Okay. What I've done is I've just slid the carrier right onto the A-arm so that it's holding it in place while I reinsert this screw for the linkage. I'm going to turn the truck upside down so I have easier access to the A-arm for the pin screw combination here. Okay, just ensure that the channel going through the A-arm matches up with the channel going through the bearing carrier, and this pin will just slide right in. Once it's in all the way, just use a driver and thread that in the rest of the way. With the carrier now reinstalled on the truck, just go ahead, reinstall your wheel, and with the 4-way, just attach it in place.